Good morning, everybody. It is 7:28 right now. Welcome back to Iowa Live. Lou and Michelle here, along with our good friend Kim Baer, as we're talking about something that you really need to stop what you're doing just for a couple of minutes and pay attention to this. If you drive a car, you're riding a car, anything like that, this is going to be very applicable to your situation. Hopefully not in the near future, but could possibly be.
Yes. I thought today we'd talk about what to do with your medical bills when you've been in a car accident. And I know we've talked about this before, but it just comes up over and over and over again in my practice. So I'm sure it's really an issue for other lawyers and other people who
this is really eye-opening because there's some things that you wouldn't even have thought of that Kim's going to talk about here this morning, Michelle.
Okay. And is it, at certain levels of car accidents and the extensive injuries and so forth?
Well, really, so anytime you're injured, let's say you go to the hospital, or maybe you don't go to the hospital, maybe you go to your doctor a couple days later because you think, oh, I've got whiplash, it'll pass, but it's not passing, so you're going to the doctor. Or maybe you've got physical therapy, or you're going to a chiropractor. What you need to know is that you need to ask the hospital, the doctor, the physical therapist, all of your medical providers, ask them to submit your bills to your health insurance. Now, that's kind of counterintuitive, and what I hear all the time from people that come into my office is they say, well, I told them I didn't cause this accident, so why should my health insurance pay?
Right.
So just send it to the other driver. Send it, they've got State Farm or Farm Bureau or whatever it is, just send it to them. Well, here's the reason why you always want your health insurance to pay. I'll give you an example. So Lou, let's say that you're in a car accident and maybe you've got, maybe you bump your head or something. So you've gone to the hospital. Let's say that hospital bill is going to be $10,000. If you don't submit it to your health insurance, then when we settle this case, we're going to have to pay the hospital $10,000. So if we settle, let's say we settle your case for $100,000, $10,000 of that has to go to the hospital.
Okay.
Now, if you submit that bill to your health insurance is going to reduce that bill because, whenever you get your EOBs, you see that, maybe an MRI was $2,500, but Blue Cross Blue Shield or United Healthcare only paid maybe $1,000 for it.
Okay.
And that's because the health insurance has a contract with the hospital, with your doctors, and what they're saying is you take our health insurance, we'll send all of our people to you, and there'll be a discount. So in your example, that $10,000 bill might be $2,000 or $3,000.
Oh, you're kidding me?
No, so now
that much?
Yeah, so that much of a reduction. So now, let's say we settle your case for $100,000, and you followed my advice, and you submitted everything to your health insurance. So now I'm going to go to your health insurance. I'm not going to go to the hospital. I'm going to go to your health insurance, and I'm repaying them. So now I'm
because
paying,
it's already been taken care of.
Because it's already been taken care of.
The hospital's been already taken care of, but I think one of the key factors is it has to be settled up. Would you rather settle for $2,000 or $3,000 or $10,000?
Exactly. So one of our jobs as a lawyer is, number one, to get you as much money as we can with a settlement or a jury verdict, but then also to reduce how much money you have to pay back, because our whole goal is to put as much money in your pocket as possible.
Right.
So obviously, if we've got it's kind of a no-brainer. Do you want to pay back $10,000 or do you want to pay back $2,000 or $3,000? So,
did those insurance providers ever dispute that or try to get it to where it goes in a different direction?
Yes, and we have some state laws that are very helpful in our state that talk about that the hospital has to submit it to health insurance. A lot of times, though, what happens, and this is the reason why I wanted to talk about it on air today, is that, for instance, when Lou goes into the hospital, he might not even give them his health insurance because his thought is, I didn't do it. Why should my health insurance pay? And you're probably thinking, I got a copay, or I got this, or I got that.
Which is exactly what I would have thought.
Yeah. So what happens is that the hospital and your doctors and the chiropractors, they can't submit it to your health insurance if they don't have that information. So you always want to make sure that you give them your health insurance card right off the bat. But sometimes, they fight us. Sometimes we'll have. Usually, it might be physical therapists or chiropractors they'd prefer that they be paid their whole bill and that they not take a discount. And so that's part of my job as well, or if you hire an attorney, that's part of the attorney's job, is to negotiate then with all of those healthcare providers.
Now, does this need to happen when you first come in to get service, or can it be a day later or 2 days later, or does it have to be at the beginning?
Well, ideally, I'd like it to be at the beginning, but I will tell you, and the reason why we're talking about this today is because it's an issue over and over and over again. So, for instance, if you didn't give them your health insurance card, and then let's say you're 2 months after the accident, and you come in to talk to me, and you say, hey, Kim, I'm still having some neck issues, I've got some back issues, you know, and so I think I need to hire a lawyer. The first thing I'm going to ask you is, okay, Lou, did you give the hospital, did you give your physical therapist your health insurance card? And I'm going to make a copy of it. And you might tell me yes, and you might tell me no. No matter what you tell me, I'm going to make a copy of it, and one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to write a letter to all of your medical providers and say, here's a copy of Lou's health insurance card. Please make sure that you are sending all of his bills to his health insurance. Okay. So that's something that a lawyer will do for you too. So if you didn't do it at the beginning, you know, a lot of times we can fix it. But some health insurances, usually Medicare, might have a 90-day window. So if it's not submitted within 90 days, there can be a pushback. Medicaid also has some time periods. So that's the reason why I wanted to talk about it this morning.
Okay, but this is health insurance that you're submitting to, and not your car insurance.
Right, you're submitting it to your health insurance. So, okay. Yep, so if you're getting health care, pull out your health insurance card and make sure that you submit it. So then another thing I wanted to talk about today that is related to all of that, and that's MedPay. And a lot of people say, med what?
What is MedPay?
Yeah. So MedPay is it is a benefit that you can buy through your car insurance.
Okay.
And I know a lot of times I come on here and it sounds like I'm selling car insurance, but MedPay is really critical. So pull out your little card, or pull out your deck sheet, or call your insurance agent and ask them, do I have MedPay? It doesn't cost very much, and what it is usually we see it can be $1,000, $2,000, $5,000, all the way up to, I think the most I've ever seen is $50,000 MedPay, but typically what we see is $5,000 to $10,000 in MedPay.
Okay.
Now, what MedPay is let's say you're in an accident, we'll just use that same example. Mm-hmm. You've been to the hospital, and now you've got a copay, and so you've submitted it to health insurance, and your health insurance is saying, okay, well, that's all fine and dandy, Lou, but you know, here's your copay of $1,000.
Right.
Then we can use your MedPay to pay the $1,000. So MedPay is something that's on your car insurance policy.
Okay, so you go to your car insurance person and say, hey, I need, here's my bill for my copay on my health insurance.
Exactly.
So the one insurance would end up paying for the other.
Yes.
Okay.
So because your insurance, that's a policy you have, so your MedPay covers you. Also, let's say that the two of you are driving and you're a passenger. You can make a claim on her MedPay. Because if she's driving and you're a passenger, then your MedPay covers all the passengers. Yes.
Wow.
So you just need to know that. And so we can use MedPay for copays, for out-of-pocket. We can, let's say that maybe your portion of a bill with the hospital is $2,000, and the hospital is really harassing you because they want to get paid. We can use MedPay to pay that. Also, I mean, if unfortunately somebody dies, we also can use MedPay for funeral expenses.
Okay.
So, and I've been fortunately in cases where, you know, a child has died and there wasn't any life insurance, and so that MedPay's come really in handy to help pay for a funeral.
But this is not something that's automatic on your auto insurance.
It's not.
You have to
pay for it
and pay a little extra for it.
You do.
In your experience, it is well worth it.
Yes. The two things I tell people all the time: make sure you've got MedPay, and then look and see what your policy limits are for UM and UIM. That's uninsured motorist and underinsured motorist, because in Iowa the minimum limits that somebody has to have is $20,000. So if you get hit by somebody who only has $20,000 and you break your leg and you don't have underinsured coverage, all you're going to get is $20,000.
Really?
So, and again, it's not that expensive, but UM and UIM it's a benefit on your car insurance that you can turn down. Most people have it because most insurance adjusters are really good about saying, oh, no, you need this. But I tell people, you know, the more you can afford, the better. So you always want UIM and UM coverage, because that's going to protect you if you get hit by somebody who either has no insurance, you know, or maybe it's lapsed, or maybe, you know, they're a deadbeat and they just didn't have any insurance, or they only have the minimum, which is $20,000.
Right.
What if you have medical expenses that you don't, that they creep up later as a result of that car accident, and maybe they come after the case is settled? Are those just...
Oh, yeah, so if it's after the case is settled, then...
Is there a window of time where you can kind of...
Right, so one of the things, you know, if you're handling it yourself or if a lawyer is helping you, that before you settle, you want to make sure you've got a pretty good handle on all the bills. That's one of the things in my office, and I'm sure other lawyers' offices do, but we have somebody in our office that's all she does. She is constantly calling medical providers saying, all right, represent John Doe, do I have the current bill, what's outstanding, have you submitted it to insurance? And then she's working with MedPay, because let's say you have $5,000 of MedPay, that $5,000 is out there really for about 2 years, and it's available to you to use for anything with regard to this accident. So, so it's just a wonderful benefit, and I don't think people know about it. And so these are two things I just see in my office probably every week.
All right,
so
great advice.
Good information.
All right, now if people want any other questions answered, I'm sure you'd be more than happy to answer some questions for them.
Sure. Just give us a call. We don't charge for a cup of coffee. Just come on in and sit down, and we'll chat and see if we can help you.
All right, so we learned if you in a car accident, submit your health insurance card, make sure that gets put up first, and check into the MedPay.
Check into the MedPay
on your car
and
insurance.
the UM and the UIM. Yes.
You got it.
Yes.
Great job as always.
As always.
All right.
It's 7:40 right now, and we will be right back.